Waka, what's up, and welcome back to the channel for yet another FC Finch Transformers review. And today on the table, we're doing another JJ special. We're getting into the core class for once in this review series of mine. And of course, this is a donation from JJ. He gave me a whole bag full of figures, of which the core class Seekers were one of them. And yes, we are doing all three Seekers. Of course, we're just going to take a look at Starscream primarily, but I will show all three Seekers in this. There's pretty much all the exact same mold, just recolors of this one, except for the exception of an accessory with Skywarp. We will get to that very shortly. But yeah, also additionally, I do want to state that there is no box with this figure. JJ probably did what any normal person would do and threw the box out. So I don't have the box to show you, but this is from the Legacy Evolution line. I know it came out back with Kingdom, but this is probably the re-release. So there we go for that. So no box. We're just going to get right into the figure and let's do it. So again, we got this is actually a pretty cool little figure. The first thing I notice is he is loaded with molded detail. I mean, not the heaviest thing in the world, but absolutely loaded with details. Even the backs of the wings have molded detail. He's got molded detail on the sides here. He's got molded detail all over his arms. He got some molded detail around his chestial area, into his legs, even on his thighs. He does have some waffles in the thighs, but it's a core class. What do you want? Even the bottom of his feet have molded detail, which is just absolutely freaking crazy. He does clean up quite well around the back. You've got some molded detail on the wings. The ailerons do have some molded in detail right there. You got the back of the front of the fuselage just hanging out. The null rays have molded detail. Got some silver on his chest area, and then of course a nice yellow for the cockpit window. It's hard to see, but the eyes do have a slight shade of red on them, along with that silver face paint. Just a neutral Starscream expression. So there you go. So yeah, very surprising for the amount of detail in this guy. And as for articulation, the head does swivel side to side. It is very tight on mine. The wings are on a tight position. They're on a pin connection right here, and you can set those any way that you want. We'll kind of set it all the way back. All the other joints are on ball joints, so of course you have the shoulder on a ball joint that can go all the way around, that can go out to the side. And then of course if we move the null ray out, we can see that you can get a swivel on the elbow, which is also a ball joint. One thing I want to point out is unless you have it straight on or straight down, you are going to hit on the shoulder area here, so just be advised of that. Now again, ball joint at the elbow, so again you get that shoulder moving out. We'll just leave the null ray off. Nothing at the wrist. And then of course if we move it up, he does not have any waist swivel to speak of. And then of course if you kick out, he does do a nice fusion kick, a core class fusion kick. He can't really do a fusion back kick because he's got junk in the back here. And then of course he goes all the way out to the side on a ball joint. Little bit of a thigh swivel because that is on a ball joint. 90-degree bend at the knee. No swivel at the knee. It kind of hits onto here. And then of course nothing at the foot. So there we go for that. As far as accessories go, you're looking at him. He comes with his null rays, which are nicely detailed. Very, very nicely molded detailed. I will give it that. They look really, really cool. They just got a 3mm port like any typical figure, and you can plug them on the shoulders as is standard, or you can take the 3mm port and plug it into his hand so he can fire off his null rays any way that he pleases. So that is cool. I mean, again, not crazy amount of accessories, excuse me, but all that he needs. So yeah, there we go for that. That's actually pretty cool, especially when you consider the size of the figure and the price point. And while we're on the topic of accessories, I want to talk about Skywarp. So Skywarp doesn't come with null rays. Not from the factory. He does come with this little trident-like thingy. I don't exactly know what it is. It does have a few different ports and plugs on it. It does have some red paint on the tips. It's just kind of hard to see in this camera, and you can just plug that into his hand. It does plug into the port. Again, I'm not too sure what this is. I don't remember seeing it in any cartoon or anything like that, but you can plug it in right there. You could also plug it in so you could, I guess, eat with it. I don't know, might be a fork. not sure. He could tune with it. And then, of course, you can plug it into, it's not plugging into his shoulder? I don't know. Oh, okay, so there it plugs into his shoulder, so you can kind of, I don't know, it's just stick out his shoulder right there. So just a little gift that you have for Skywarp there is a bit different from what comes with Starscream. So there we go. And Thundercracker is pretty much exactly like Starscream. We'll actually show that off in the comparisons coming up. And we'll do a comparison, a few only comparisons that matter. So there he is next to SS86 Hot Rod, another mainline figure. And yeah, again, he's a wee guy as par for the course with the core class. I believe he's about roughly 4 inches to the top of his little fin right there. So yeah, and there you go. He's a, you know, kind of par for the course for the course for the class. Let's take Studio Series Hot Rod and get him out here, and then of course let's bring in his compatriots, his team, the Seekers from season 1, Skywarp and Thundercracker, and there they are all together. And yeah, you can see, you know, they all have kind of a different get-up. We'll take a quick look at Thundercracker. He's got the bunch of silver paint on the chest area, the yellow, and then of course he's blue all over. I mean, they're not crazy accurate, but what do you want for like what, $10-12, however much these cost? And then of course Skywarp, you can see he's got the silver paint, he's got the purple for the arms, which really pops, and then of course the silver for the face, purple for the wings and lower legs, so that looks really good too. So yeah, no, just there they are all together, the team united, and there we go for that. And one final comparison for the lulz. I very seldom do this, but let's be real, this is the actual reason that core class exists. So there he is with Toy World Devastator. So there you go. So let's get Core Class Starscream transforming up into his jet mode. And for such a wee dude, this transformation is honestly really interesting and very well thought out. So let's get right down to it. So first thing that we want to do is we see that we got a hole here, we got a peg here. We're just going to peg the 2 legs together. And of course, since it's a waffle, they might actually kind of not go in at first. Additionally, what I also like to do here is we'll just take the null ray off on this side. We can turn in the elbow, so you got a tab right here. It's going to be facing towards the slot. Just don't plug it in just yet. And same thing for the other side. Get it turned just like that. This thing has quite a few tabs that are just not seen. Next up, what we want to do is we want to bring in, they're going to rotate up the back fin. You got to see, you got a tab right, it's kind of hard to see right there. And we can plug it in. It's just going to snap in place. And then we can bring down the rear fin. Same thing for the other side. Bring that up, snaps into place, and then bring down the rear fin. And then what we want to do is let's bring the wings all the way back. Let's bring the cockpit up like this to give ourselves some room. And then what we want to do is break open his chest, pretty much like an alien is popping out of it, and open up the chest. We could bring the head down right here and rotate the head all the way around that shoulder, and of course bring down the entire forward part of the cockpit. And you can unbend his legs, because what we're going to do is we're going to take this whole back assembly, it just rotates about this pid. And we're just going to rotate this all the way around just like that. Now we can bring the legs up, and you can see he's got these 2 tabs right here. They're going to tab right into the back here. That'll finish off the back of the jet. And then what we can do is you're going to notice you got 2 tabs right on here. It's going to plug in right into here for the front of the fuselage. So just going to plug those in right there, and then we can kind of bring the cockpit into position, and then we can kind of bring his head all the way down just like that into the cockpit. Now we can close up the chest on the bottom, and you can see that you just got some wee tabs right here. They're going to go into a tab right here on this side. Same thing for the other side. You can see it's got 3 tabs. It's in a tab in here, here. So we want to make sure the legs are both straight. And there we go for that. Now we can bring down the wings. Same thing on this side. And you can plug in the wrist. Oh, there we go. Plug in the wrist. Take his null rays. You can put them on his elbows. And like magic, there we have Core Class Starscream in his F-15 fighter mode. And yeah, this is actually a pretty neat pretty neat transformation. And we'll just kind of go over, I mean, yeah, you can see a lot of the robots, like you see the hands hanging out, but again, it's a Core Class. What do you want? It's a $12 figure. I mean, this is actually pretty Starscream, you know, again, obviously, if you could hide the cockpit, but, you know, being a Core Class is not going to do that, but it does always kind of show his chest hanging out and whatnot, feet towards the back. You know, it's actually really cool. And you know, this is no different than what other jet formers do. As for the top, again, really clean top side. You know, we talk about the masterpiece being all panely and whatnot. This is actually pretty clean as far as jet formers go, as far as transformations go in general. So that is actually pretty cool. Of course, you see the top of the cockpit got more of that yellow paint, Decepticon symbols front and center. So that looks really cool. And then you got the null rays in the proper position right there. I suppose you could put them on the front if you do want. So that's pretty much where the accessories are realigned, which is cartoon accurate, and that is pretty cool. Yeah, you know, it's just interesting. The thing I think about this is that I remember back when we had G1s, we had a little mini bots, and you know, you flip those guys, they look nothing like in the cartoon and whatnot, and it's just crazy how far we've come to where this figure looks like he does, transforms like he does. Just really cool. And if we want to do a quick comparison, we'll bring in, of course, Thundercracker and Skywarp. And real quick, if we want to talk accessories, Skywarp's accessory right here. Basically what I do is I just like to plug it into this port right on the bottom right here, so you can kind of have a little tuning fork, I guess. I don't know, you could probably eat your food with it or something like that. I don't know. I'll probably give it to my nephew and just say, here, eat your Cheerios with that. And then of course, let's get these guys off the table. We can bring in Mr. Hot Rod, Studio Series Hot Rod. And yeah, he's about roughly as long as Hot Rod, Studio Series Hot Rod. So that is actually pretty cool for that. And yeah, there we have it for Core Class Starscream's vehicle mode. So let's summarize, and there we have it for the Transformers Legacy Armada Core Class Starscream / Seeker mold. And yeah, given the size, given the price point, these are really cool, interesting little figures. They don't got much on size, but they are really articulated, especially when you compare it to the G1 mini bots that we used to get back in the 80s. They don't have a crazy amount of accessories, but they got just what they need. Don't got a crazy amount of paint, but what do you want given the price point? I think they got a ton of molded detail given the size, and the transformation is fun, it's intricate, it's interesting, and it achieves the jet mold very well given what it sets out to do. So yeah, if you're looking for just a cool little fidget transformer, or you got some display diorama ideas, I could totally see the interest in wanting to buy one of these. And of course, you can still get these. They do have them at Big Bad Toy Store. I'll put a link to the description down below. And that is going to conclude this review. So if you found this review fun and informative, consider hitting that like button down below. Also consider subscribing to my channel, ironically, down below as well. My fingers going all over the place. And that really helps me out. Thank you so much to those of you that are. And that being said, that will conclude this review. I have been FC Finch. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.